Hello everyone, this is Andrew with Novus Computers and novuscomputers.com, and today we have another Windows 10 basics video, and we will be looking at Microsoft's Cortana in Windows 10. So this Cortana is a digital assistant. If you're any used to Apple's Siri or Google Now, then this service will be very, very familiar to you. It allows you to have a wide variety of things that you can do with it. You can set scheduling dates, keep a calendar, have it check your email, track packages, boxes, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things you can do. Cortana can be either type activated or voice activated. So if you have a microphone with your computer, you can use a catchphrase, which I'll show you in a little bit how to activate that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and mention and get this out of the way right now is that this is currently running the Windows 10 Anniversary Update of 2016, or build 1607. So if you do not have build 1607, then you'll just have to wait a couple more days or weeks. Your computer should update automatically normally, unless you have it set to either defer upgrades or have Windows Update turned off, which is not recommended. The easiest way to see or tell if you have the current latest version of Windows 10, or also again known as the Anniversary Update, is by looking at your Start menu. If you've looked at or watched the Start Menu Basics tutorial, you'll have a pretty good idea of what the Start menu has looked like up to this point. However, there are a couple larger changes, and I'm actually going to be coming out with an article here in the near future that'll detail those changes as kind of an addendum to the Start Menu video. But if we go ahead and open up the Start menu, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff that looks similar, but there are a few key differences here. So the first key difference is these icons on the side. Instead of having them show up like this, like they did in the past, they now are just small little tiny icons along the side. So if you want to, you could still click on it and it'll still give you, your power options, so on and so forth. They're just in a much smaller area now. The other thing is that if you notice, there is no more all apps button or anything. Instead, all of your apps are listed right here. You just have to scroll up and down the list, which is a really nice feature. Prevents you from having to click any more than you really need to. Everything is right there at your fingertips, ready to go. And the recently added, most used, all that stuff is all right here at the very top instead of being, interspaced into one start menu and you have to click a button to get to the rest of the application, stuff like that. Obviously, tiles have not gone away. They're still there, alive and kicking. So most all of this should transfer over during the upgrade. So if you have your tiles set up just the way you want them, they normally should just transfer right over and you'll be good to go. So that's the easiest way to tell if you're on the newest build. Another way you can do it is if you come in here to System or Settings, and then we go to System, and then we go to About. Right here where it says Version, it should say version 1607. So if that's the case, then you'll know you're on the latest version. If it is not, it is, I believe, build 1554 is the previous version. Might not be 1554, but it's 15 something. If you're on that build, then you are on the previous version, which was the fall update of 2015. So again, if you are on the older build, just wait a couple of weeks. Microsoft's been rolling out the anniversary update here for a couple of weeks now, and that should be rolling into your system very shortly. So to get started with Cortana, let's go ahead and figure out how we can activate her. Activating Cortana, and if you'll notice, I called it a her, and the reason I call it her is because Microsoft's Cortana, the name actually comes from a character in a video game who was actually a female character, and it was actually a Microsoft video game. So that's why a lot of people, especially in the tech community, if you ever hear of Cortana, you'll see to it referred to as her. Not only just because of the name thing, but also because Cortana by default speaks in a female voice. So a lot of times people will say, refer to Apple's Siri as a her. A lot of people don't really refer to Google's Now as in anything because Google Now is not really something you would call a person's name. But a lot of times, if you refer to Google Now as a person, then you would refer to it as a her as well. So Cortana actually lives down here in the search box. And if you've had Windows 10 running for any given amount of time and you've never set Cortana up, a lot of times if you'll click down in the search box right at the beginning, you'll end up activating Cortana, inadvertently, and you'll probably be wondering why it's always asking you to set it up and all that sort of stuff. So if we go ahead and we just click down here, you'll see that up pops Cortana. So right now, this is the way this screen looks in the anniversary update. Again, this is the newest update, so it does look a little different if you were on an older version of Windows 10. So again, if it doesn't quite look right to you, then that might be why you're seeing what you are. So right off the bat, in the Windows 10 anniversary update, you can actually use Cortana to an extent without a Microsoft account, which is really nice because you can also set up all of the voice activation and everything and still not have to worry about sending it in a Microsoft account or anything else. I'll cover that here briefly, how to set it up with a Microsoft account. And then I'll also kind of go over some of the things that she can do for you. But the easiest way to activate Cortana, again, is just clicking down in this search box. If you have your microphone on your computer set up, you can also click on this microphone button.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk. I need your permission to help.
And as you can see, she will immediately start talking back to you, possibly. And other times, if we have the mic set up, then she will obviously go ahead and just listen for inputs or commands. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and get a quick look at the interface here in typing mode. So by default, we can see if you're not signed in with an account or anything, she will automatically populate this area with a couple of suggestions. And if you really want to know exactly how effectively she can be used or what all she can do for you, this list is actually a really great resource because these lists or these tips are generated at random, and if you just click on it, I don't know how well this one will work. Yeah, this one wants a Microsoft account, but if you just click on the actual tip, then that command will actually execute and you can actually see how it works. So for instance, if I had music playing in the background and I clicked what song is playing, it will actually use your microphone on your computer to find out what song is playing. If you're using a Windows-based phone, you can do the same thing. It just uses your phone's microphone. So there's a couple tips in here. Again, there's a lot of them that will need a Microsoft account, and some of them, if you're using a desktop PC, may not necessarily be applicable. But in most cases, see, like if I click this movies near me, it'll probably want location data, but it might not. It'll open up a search window and it'll show you different theaters and everything that are going around near you. So by default, you can also type in a variety of different commands down here. So for instance, if I type in Open Edge and you hit enter, Microsoft Edge opens right up. You're good to go. So a couple other things. Again, you can create an appointment. You can set up an appointment utilizing a calendar. There's lots and lots of other things you can do here. The other thing that this will allow you to do is it allows you to access it as just a generic search bar still. So if you have a particular application, a document, a website, or even a web search term, you can just search right down here in the search bar here, and Cortana will just go ahead and if it's a file, she'll find it on your computer. If it's a program that's installed, she'll find it for you. If it's a program that can be found in the Windows Store, it'll take you to the Windows Store. If it's a web search, then it'll run a search on the web. It will do it through Bing, I must warn you. If you're not a fan of Bing, then you might want to just go through the old-fashioned method of opening up your browser. But if you don't mind Bing, which honestly, it's not the worst search engine in the world by any means. I still, in my personal opinion, think Google's slightly better at getting you better, more accurate results. But Bing is still, I would say, easily second in its run. So if it's just a quick search, go ahead, type your search terms into the search bar down here to run a web search, and Bing will suit you just fine. So over here we have a couple other icons, and if I bring this up over here, you'll see exactly what their names are. You'll have home, notebook, settings, and feedback. And just to get this out of the way, home brings you up this screen right here. Feedback, if you actually have any suggestions or tips or anything that you'd like to leave Microsoft about Cortana, you can actually enter them down here. and then you hit send, and that will actually send that straight to Microsoft. And if you have any ideas or likes or dislikes or anything, that provides them feedback, which they, believe it or not, they actually really do value, and they do want to hear from you. So if you want to make sure Cortana can be the best digital assistant possible for your computer, then make sure you add in with any ideas or anything that you may have. Real quick look at the settings here. We've got several settings here, microphone settings mainly, as well as lock screen settings, stuff like that. Not going to touch on absolutely everything here, but I will go ahead and show you where you can set up your microphone if you have that. If you just, right here along the top, if you just click this make sure Cortana can hear me, you'll just hit get started. And then you'll need to make sure that it allows access to your microphone. So you'll make sure you hit sure. And then from that point, it'll want you to log in with an administrative account, which I just accidentally clicked, so I did not mean to do that. There we go. So I'll just go ahead and log in here, and it'll run through its deal, and we'll just go ahead and skip this step at the moment. Close that. And then normally that should set everything up. If for some reason your microphone is malfunctioning, like it apparently thinks mine is, it could be just because I'm recording at this particular moment in time. Then what it will do is it should just automatically set it up. If you do have a little bit of trouble, this troubleshooter can help you to an extent. I'm not going to say it's going to solve your problem, but it hopefully will at least point you in the right direction as to how to fix that. So other settings here, let Cortana respond to Hey Cortana. This is that catchphrase I was referring to earlier. Basically what it'll do is it will leave your microphone running at all times. And the benefit to this is that you can simply say, Hey Cortana, and she'll pop up immediately. If you have a laptop or a microphone that is like a desk stand microphone instead of a headset mic, this can actually be pretty handy, because then you can simply, say, Hey Cortana from across the room, and she'll pop up and respond. And then you can, set an event, do whatever you need to from across the room if you have, if you're busy with something else, you can't be right at the screen at that moment. It allows you a little bit of vocal command, from pretty much anywhere in the room, as long as you're within earshot. The lock screen settings, you can use Cortana even when your screen is locked, which can be handy. Simply because if you're, again, across the room and your computer happened to go into screensaver mode, you go to wake it back up and it's locked now, you can actually still use Cortana and let her access your calendar and email and everything. You'll need to make sure that this box down here is checked to make sure that you can actually access it. Um, things, taskbar tidbits, you're not really going to notice this too much, but basically it actually pops up with stuff down here and then over here in the notification center, which is this area over here. You can change what language she speaks to you in. You can view or keep a history or view your history for your particular device. You can also clear that device's history. The thing about this is that the more you use Cortana, the more she's going to know about you and be able to, help you with more detailed items day to day. And the other thing to remember is that this is still an early technology. So as it does develop, there will be more and more things that, it can use that information for to help you out with going forward. So that's a look at the settings. If we take a quick look here at the notebook, you'll see that it wants to sign in with a Microsoft account. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my account here. Let's see if I can remember my password here. Let's see here. I might have to look this one up. Give me one moment while I do that. Let's see. Just goes to show you I'm not always prepared with absolutely everything. But give me 1 minute here and we should be good to go. Oops, I didn't use both caps. There we go. There we go. All right, so now that we're signed in, and again, you can see the settings that I've transferred over here. We have a whole bunch of different items here that we can set up. Go ahead and close that out. In here, you can set pretty much just about everything as far as preferences go. For instance, if you have favorite sports teams, if we go down to here where it says sports, you can sign in with your favorite sports teams. As you can see, I've got a couple teams in here already. You can simply add a team, search for one, and it will show up in that list, and it will give you any updates for things like scoring, news articles, stuff like that related to those teams. Um, Eat and drink, you can have restaurant notifications from based on your location, as well as you can have a specific cuisine preferences, ambience preferences. There's lots of stuff there. I'm not going to go through all of these, but do take a look at each of them and go inside, see what what all is needed, as far as, or what all is available as far as options go. You can set up your weather, so that way all you have to do to find out what's the forecast for today is you just click down here in the taskbar. Another thing that I'm going to show you is that now that I've signed in, if I click down here, you'll see that a whole bunch of different stuff has changed. And there are actually different tips and tricks that are, present here. There are calendar notifications that I have. There's food articles, there's news articles, articles that are also related to local news. So if you have, it'll be related to whatever city or town that you live in or near. It'll give you location directions, traffic updates, restaurant updates. Again, you can see here it's giving me sports scores for the Royals. So all of this will change over once you sign in with a Microsoft account. So if you're already signed into Windows with one, then all you have to do is just allow Cortana to access it. If you haven't signed in or do not want to sign in with a Microsoft account, you can still use Cortana to a limited extent. If you don't want to sign into Windows with one, you can also just sign into Cortana with your Microsoft account and not have to worry about the rest of Windows needing to rely on your Microsoft account. So it won't be quite as integrated, but it will still, work and function just like it would if you were signed into Windows. So anyway, back to the notebook. All of these options, again, just go into them, play around with them, look at them. There's a lot of different things here. The packages menu is really handy. And one of the cool things is you don't even have to visit this page if you want to track a specific package. All you have to do is paste in a tracking number down here into the search bar, and Cortana will automatically detect that that's a package and or a package tracking number, and will automatically query the information from whatever carrier, whether it be UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, whoever, and then we'll use that tracking number and then give you updates on that package as you use Cortana. If you bring it up later in the day, it'll say, hey, it's in a city near you, it's here, it's there, hey, it's been delivered. So all you got to do is just paste a tracking number into the bar here. You don't actually have to go into the notebook and then through and anything else. um, there's also things if you want to track stocks. If you're investing in stocks or just interested in stocks, you can have those set there, and it will automatically give you cards based on that, as well as updates about particular stocks that you might be interested in. So again, go through each of these categories. There's a lot of different things that you can set up and change in here, in each of these. So they're all well worth the time. And then again, you can also access all of this through the notebook setting, which is this little icon right here, or if you bring out the big menu, it's this button right here. So that is a brief look at Microsoft's Cortana. Again, there's a lot of different things she can do for you, so make sure you explore around. And if you have a microphone, might want to get that set up. Just again, it's one of those things that you don't really realize how nice it is to be able to say, "Hey Cortana, open this app," and then she opens it for you. Um, as we go forward into the future with voice recognition becoming better and better, this will get better and better in terms of what all you can do or say to have her do. But for now, it's a little bit limited to open this program, hey, schedule this, do that. Again, these tips and tricks section right here will help a lot with that. So other than that, that should be about everything that needs to be known for the basics of Cortana. So if you have any other questions about it, go ahead, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below the video. Otherwise, I have been Andrew with Novus Computers and novuscomputers.com. And make sure you go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Subscribe for more because I will keep posting these videos for as long as possible. And make sure you visit the website, which is NOVUS dash is in a hyphen or a minus sign, the word computers, which is plural, .com. You can also follow on Twitter at Novus Computers, which there's all one word there. There's no dash or hyphen. So again, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.